Anonymous, the decentralized international hacktivist collective known for their cyber operations against governments, corporations, and various organizations, has once again emerged from the digital shadows. Established in the early 2000s on 4chan forums, this loosely associated network of digital activists has become synonymous with fighting against censorship, government corruption, and exposing fraud. Operating behind their iconic Guy Fawkes masks, anonymous members have taken down websites, leaked sensitive information, and brought attention to issues they believe deserve public scrutiny. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. This signature calling card has preceded numerous high-profile operations, from their campaign against the Church of Scientology to exposing government surveillance programs. Now, the collective has turned its considerable digital resources toward a sophisticated scam operation, with its heart in an unexpected place, Doral, Florida. The first rule of digital security is to recognize patterns where randomness should exist, explained the anonymous spokesperson through an encrypted channel. Our network began noticing unusual activity across multiple Facebook marketplace accounts, all roads leading to one small city outside Miami. What began as scattered reports quickly formed a disturbing picture as anonymous members collected data from hundreds of victims across the country. The operation was breathtaking in its simplicity, yet devastating in its effectiveness. Sellers on digital marketplaces were receiving multiple, enthusiastic offers from buyers, all somehow connected to Doral, Florida. We tracked over 3,000 suspected fraudulent interactions over a 6-month period, continued the spokesperson. The pattern was unmistakable, a flood of interest from supposedly different buyers, all requesting shipping to various addresses in Doral. These weren't random coincidences. This was an orchestrated campaign. Unlike traditional online fraud where victims send money directly to scammers, the Doral operation employs a reverse approach. Scammers aren't after money, they want valuable merchandise. The scheme relies on sophisticated fake payment confirmations, primarily through manipulated PayPal receipts that appear genuine to unsuspecting sellers. One victim, Sarah Layton from Minneapolis, described her experience. I listed my camera equipment for $200, and within hours, I had 5 different buyers all offering full price. 3 mentioned they were from the Doral area. I thought I'd hit the jackpot with a hot item. The buyer I chose sent what looked exactly like a PayPal payment confirmation. Same layout, same everything. I shipped the equipment next day. 3 days later, I realized there was no actual money in my account. Anonymous traced thousands of similar stories across multiple platforms, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Craigslist, and even specialized forums for collectibles and electronics. The estimated total losses exceed $15 million, according to their investigation. What makes this operation particularly insidious is its psychological sophistication, explained Dr. Elaine Morrison, a cybersecurity psychologist consulted by Anonymous. The scammers create artificial competition for the item, triggering the seller's fear of missing out on a good deal, while simultaneously providing a false sense of security through familiar payment platforms. It's a perfect psychological storm. Anonymous's investigation revealed why Doral features so prominently in this scheme. The small city, incorporated just over 20 years ago outside Miami, has developed into a critical logistics hub with strategic access to Miami International Airport. Doral isn't the final destination. It's a sophisticated transit point, explained the anonymous investigator. The city houses hundreds of freight forwarding operations and warehouses. These legitimate businesses receive packages and redirect them internationally while maintaining client confidentiality. It's the perfect laundering system for stolen goods. Through a series of social engineering operations, Anonymous infiltrated several forwarding companies, discovering that many were unwittingly participating in the scheme. The stolen items arrived addressed to seemingly legitimate businesses or individuals, were repackaged and then forwarded internationally, primarily to addresses in Lagos, Nigeria. We placed GPS trackers in bait packages, the anonymous operative detailed. Despite sophisticated attempts to detect tracking devices, including electronic sweeps at some locations, several made it through the entire pipeline. We watched in real time as packages moved from Miami to London and finally to Lagos. Anonymous's most shocking discovery came when they successfully penetrated the digital communications of several scam operations in Lagos. Rather than finding a centralized criminal enterprise, they uncovered a loosely organized network of individual operators, many surprisingly young. We expected to find a hierarchical organization, said the anonymous representative. Instead, we discovered hundreds of independent operators sharing techniques, tools, and resources through encrypted Telegram channels and private Facebook groups. Many were teenagers or young adults operating from cybercafes or small apartments. Through digital surveillance, Anonymous gathered evidence that these operations had become normalized within certain communities, even celebrated. Successful scammers flaunted their wealth on social media, driving luxury cars and posting pictures from expensive nightclubs, becoming local celebrities and role models. There's an entire ecosystem supporting these operations. The investigation revealed hustle academies offer training in social engineering and digital manipulation. Corrupt officials provide protection. Software developers create increasingly sophisticated tools for creating fake payment confirmations and identifying valuable targets. Anonymous managed to access chat logs and training materials that revealed the calculated psychology behind the scams. Operators were trained to analyze seller profiles, identify vulnerabilities, and customize approaches based on psychological profiling. Perhaps Anonymous's most significant contribution was tracking the financial infrastructure, supporting the Doral scam network. While the physical goods followed one path, the money flowed through an entirely different system. The operators convert stolen merchandise to cash through multiple channels, explained the anonymous financial analyst. Some items are sold locally in Lagos markets. Higher value electronics enter legitimate resale channels in the UAE and China. Collectibles and luxury goods are sold through specialized online marketplaces using stolen identities. The investigation uncovered connections to cryptocurrency exchanges, where proceeds were converted to Bitcoin and other digital currencies before being laundered through a series of wallets and exchanges. This money ultimately funded further operations and sustained the lifestyles of the scammers. We've identified over 340 cryptocurrency wallets associated with these operations, containing the equivalent of approximately $8.2 million, said the anonymous representative. We've shared this information with relevant authorities. True to their reputation, Anonymous didn't stop at merely exposing the scam. The collective launched a multi-pronged counterstrike against the operation. First, they deployed a massive awareness campaign, creating a dedicated website detailing the scam's methodology and warning signs. They developed a browser extension that could identify suspicious patterns in marketplace communications and flag potential scam attempts. Education is our first line of defense, stated their public release. We've created materials in 12 languages explaining how to identify and avoid these scams. Second, Anonymous targeted the infrastructure enabling the fraud. They contacted legitimate freight forwarding companies in Doral, providing evidence of how their services were being exploited. Several companies implemented new verification procedures as a result. Most dramatically, Anonymous launched what they termed Operation Digital Spotlight, a coordinated effort to disrupt the online communities supporting these scams. They infiltrated training forums, corrupted tool repositories, and exposed the identities of several major operators to local authorities. We aren't just trying to stop current operations. We're disrupting the knowledge transfer that enables new scammers to enter the ecosystem, explained the anonymous tactical coordinator. Perhaps the most unexpected aspect of Anonymous's investigation was their exploration of the human factors driving the scam ecosystem. Through digital surveillance and direct communication with several operators, they developed insights into the socioeconomic conditions fueling these operations. We spoke with one operator, a 19-year-old. We'll call Alex over several weeks, recounted an anonymous member. He described growing up in an environment with 70% youth unemployment, unreliable infrastructure, and widespread corruption. He witnessed scam operators becoming local success stories while those pursuing legitimate paths continued to struggle. Anonymous's report acknowledged the complex moral dynamics at play without excusing the harm caused. These operations cause real suffering to victims, many of whom lose items of significant financial and personal value. At the same time, we must recognize the global economic inequalities and lack of opportunities that create fertile ground for such operations to flourish. The collective's final report included recommendations for addressing both immediate threats and underlying causes, including improved platform security, international law enforcement cooperation, and economic development initiatives in affected regions. Anonymous concluded their public disclosure with a stark warning. The Doral scam represents just one evolution in an ever-adapting ecosystem of digital fraud. As awareness of this particular methodology spreads, the techniques will inevitably shift and transform. The battle between security and deception is never-ending. Their statement read, "Today's exposure becomes tomorrow's obsolete technique." Digital citizens must maintain constant vigilance. The collective emphasized that while they had disrupted significant parts of the operation, no single action could eliminate such a decentralized threat. They called on platform operators, logistics companies, and regulatory authorities to implement more robust verification systems. "We are anonymous and we have exposed the Doral scam line." Their statement concluded, "But our work is never complete. Wherever digital exploitation exists, we will continue to shine light into dark corners. The internet belongs to all of us and we will defend it." For sellers across digital marketplaces, Anonymous's warning remains clear. When multiple eager buyers emerge from the same obscure location, it's not coincidence, it's pattern. And in the digital world, recognizing patterns might be your best protection against becoming the next link in a global chain of deception.